Yeah, man. So, first of all, it's storming outside. Like, there's a storm. So, if there's a lot of noise, that's probably it. And I apologize in advance, but like, there's nothing I can really do about it at the moment because I'm broke. But I showed up again. And I think, I'm pretty sure it is because like, I went through like the things. And this is episode 10. This is episode 10. And like, it's crazy. It's like, it's wild because like, we made it. Well, we got here. We made it this far. And like, to be very honest, I didn't think, I was like, when I first started out, to be very honest, I was like, this is such a kiki haha project for me. Like, it's honestly just for like banting, banting jokes, bro. Like, I'm actually just here chilling. Like, I'm just doing this for the fun of it. But like, I made it to episode 10 because like, I was very worried at the start that I wouldn't get past episode 5 even. But it's been 10 weeks. This is 10 weeks in. 10 consistent weeks. Okay, not consistent. Like with the episodes, yeah, I've posted every week. But like with the socials, but yeah, this is episode 10, guys. And I want to say like a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in, week out. Because like, I haven't gone a week without a view at the very least. And like, not even just a view on like YouTube, but like a listen on whatever audio platform as well. So like, every time I've posted something, I've gotten at least one view or one listen, like on all platforms, like even on the socials. It's like, it's kind of wild. It's like, it's kind of crazy. And like, I think even once I got like close to 1,000 views on like a video, well, it was like a short or some shit. But like, on also like one of the YouTube videos, I got like over 100 views, and I was like, damn, guys, like, y'all really fucks with me? Like, question mark. And I saw like quite a few subscribers as well. Like, y'all really fucks with me? Is this me? Is it me, Jesus? Is it me? So like, big thanks to everyone who's been like tuning in, who's been sharing, who's been listening, liking all of the, all of the stuff. Like, I really appreciate, like, a lot of love to all of you, like a lot of like appreciation. But you know how it is. You know where we at. This is episode 10 of the Back of the Class show, and I am your host, who's apparently beloved. You guys want to make me cry. I am your host, who's apparently loved, who's apparently appreciated. I am Danny, the creator, and I pull in week in, week out to dish the things. And we're here for another banger. And then thank you again for tuning in. So I think I'm gonna go a little bit different with this episode. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit different. Honestly, I have no idea what I want to talk about. Like, I have options. I don't know what exactly I want to talk about, so I'm gonna like delay it. But to start off the episode, I don't know, like a few episodes ago, I said I was gonna like announce some shit and whatnot. So I guess this is it. Announcement time. PSA. So to begin with, I think the first announcement is that, so this would be the last episode of like season 1, I suppose. So like the first season, I might take like a week or two off to like try to kickstart season 2, see if there's shit that I need to change. I mean, there is, but like, see if I can actually change it within that time, and also because like I have a lot of shit that I need to catch up on, and like my personal life as well. But maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'll just show up again next week with like another episode, because consistency is key. Consistency is key, and I'm trying to keep that key in place, if you know what I mean. So so the next episode is gonna be season 2, and it's like, ooh, that sounds fancy, but like, everyone does this shit. I'm like, do I wanna do it too? I wanna do seasons as well, but like, nah, I think I'm gonna like sort of do it, but not even because like people are doing it, like just because I was like have like a demarcation, like a mental demarcation of like, okay, I've tried this out for like 10 episodes and it's gone well, but like I would like make a sort of shift to a different type of vibe, to a different type of era of my podcasting or whatever. So yeah, I'm technically gonna start season 2 next episode. Technically, I mean, it wouldn't really show anywhere, to be honest. Like, it never shows up on like YouTube or like Spotify or whatever that it's like season 1, season 2. So like you guys wouldn't even know a difference, to be fair. But yeah, but like for season 2, I have been messaging people. I have been sending like emails, DMs, Instagram, DM, like Instagram, TikTok, and things. And so for season 2, I fingers crossed, of course. I have a few things lined up already, but like I really hope that starting from next week, starting from like next episode for real, I really hope that I can start having guests on. Because I did talk to someone about like yeah recording an episode together for like next episode, but like it's looking a little bit dicey at the moment because of like yeah schedules, distance, travel, shit like that. So but fingers crossed, you guys pray for me, pray for the show, and hopefully someone pulls through. But like apart from that, like I know I have some guests lined up. I think like 2-3 episodes from now I have someone lined up, like a really good friend of mine. I have a couple of the Gavin Sugars as well coming on, like a lot of like yeah, people, all my friends and shit. So fingers crossed again, we're gonna have people coming on. So that's gonna be like the vibe for a little bit, for like a short while. I mean, I would still very much have like solo episodes as usual, but I hope to have conversations with people. I might have a few online episodes as well putting through, so like just conversations with like people in other countries, so like video calls and shit. Hopefully that goes well. I'm kind of having like some like gaming episodes or like shit like that, maybe reaction videos and shit. But yeah, there's just like quite a few things in the works, in the spanners. And I know like I'm not supposed to like announce it now because it's like what if it doesn't happen? But like no, this is pressure. I need to add pressure to myself to make sure I pull through. The pressure is getting worse, and I need to make it even worse. So we're gonna get there. The second announcement, which really is like the big thing that I actually was trying to announce, quote unquote, and like I'll be fully honest, like it's not completely guaranteed yet, but like again, I need to add pressure to myself by announcing this. So the second thing is that I'm trying to plan, like I'm planning, not even trying to, like I'm planning a sort of live, that's the word. Okay, a sort of live event. So I'm planning a sort of live event, not necessarily like an event, but like a small gathering, maybe like a sip and paint type of beat, with but like people just show up and like it's gonna be for free, obviously. Like I'm not gonna like charge you. But like it's gonna be for free. So like a little sip and paint type of situation, type of episode where we just like all come through, paint some shit, have conversations, and like obviously that would be like the episode and shit, like a special episode. So, like I'm trying to pull that through, or like maybe even something else. So maybe like a poetry read, or maybe like a stand up comedy type beat. But like yeah, so like that's also in the works, and it's looking good so far. And it's probably gonna be like somewhere close to the end of the year. So I'll obviously keep you all updated. The more information that I have, I'll like pass it on to you. And if you wanna make sure that you're up to date, what you have to do: follow our socials. You can follow the show at Back OT Class Show. And you can follow me personally at Demi_the creator on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Do that right now, even. Actually, I'm gonna wait for you. Just do it. Just do it. Okay, and now we're back. I love the way I segue. That's a nice segue. It's like this. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep you all updated through socials, probably in other episodes as well, of when the thing is gonna be, what you might need to bring, maybe some painting equipment, maybe some I don't know, like your poetry or whatever. But like yeah, so the idea is for it to be like a sort of sip and paint, and while we paint, we have a conversation about some topic that whatever pops up, and like whatever we're feeling like, and obviously no obligation to talk as well, but like yeah, but I would also probably have like an actual guest to also be there to like mediate or some shit. uh but yeah, so like that's actually the big announcement. That is the big announcement. I don't think I'm missing anything else right now. So no, so yeah, I was gonna add the songs to the playlist now, but I think I'll do that at the end of the episode. So yeah, let's segue. Let's move on. Let's move on to the actual episode, to the topic of the day. To the topic of the day. Like I said, I have no idea where I'm gonna go. But actually, So I visited a friend of mine recently. Well, excuse me, not recently, but like a few days ago. And we actually had, well, not just him, but like several people as well. I've been finding myself, well, mostly because of the podcast, to be honest, because like people view it and like start asking questions. But like I've been finding myself having a lot of like interesting conversations with people about like political shit, you know, like the social political state of the world. And like recently I had a conversation about like, how do I put this? Like affirmative action. So I think all of us know, or like I hope all of us by now know that was it. So like by the time you guys are hearing this, it's probably like 2 weeks ago or like last week. No, 2 weeks ago. So like 2 weeks ago technically for you guys. You probably, oh shit. Oh, never mind. Oh, I actually need to do this fast. Okay, yeah, so like for you guys it's probably like last week. So last week or 2 weeks ago, like the in the US, the Supreme Court kind of like took down affirmative action and whatnot. And I was having a conversation with this friend of mine about like something like about it specifically, and how, you know, like apparently if taking it down is like good because you're gonna have equal ground for everyone, you know, quote unquote. And like I had to like talk to him and be like, yo. So first of all, let me start here. I'm not gonna explain. I'm just gonna drop this and leave and ignore it, just like that. So first of all, affirmative action, to be very honest, really did not benefit black people as much as we think it did. I wouldn't say it did not benefit black people. In fact, actually, I would say it did. It did not benefit black people. It only served to give a little bit back to black people from what was taken from black people. So it wasn't an advantage to black people. It was more of a reprivation to black people. And even that affirmative action didn't necessarily repair enough of the damage that was done to the black community. So it being taken down is actually silly. Like, it's the US, so you know, kiki haha. But yeah, so I was telling him that okay, I really see where you're coming, like, you know, equal opportunity, equal footing, whatnot. But here's the thing: we don't live in an equal world. We don't live in an equal society. Like, everyone isn't equal, but like not because everyone isn't equal, but because everyone is given a different starting point, because people have been stolen from and people have been gifted white supremacy. So once upon a time, once upon a time, some white men decided to travel on a boat to a continent and started kidnapping people and started taking people to a different continent, to their continent, and used them as slaves. I think we all know this story. We all know how that went. So now, because of this, because of the slavery of and the enslavement of our people, of my people, of black people, because of the enslavement of black people, the white community was able to make such prosperous gains and advancements in society because they were essentially gifted 3 years, like years upon years of free labor and work. And they were able to build wealth without having to give back wealth or having to compensate for said wealth. So that puts white people ahead of black people in terms of resources and wealth. And in the US especially, this means that a lot of black community, because through slavery, through segregation, a lot of black communities are disadvantaged. So growing up in a black community already inherently puts you at a disadvantage in society. It puts you at the back of the race, of the grid. And it's not of your own fault. It's not black people's fault that they are that they, well, we, not just in the US, if we're being honest, also in Europe. But like, yeah, so it's not black people's fault that we have to start this race at the back of the grid. It's not our fault in any way, shape, or form. It's just because of slavery, segregation, and colonization. We were stolen from. Now, affirmative action was theoretically supposed to alleviate like the distance between alleviate the distance between white people and black people, and also people of color in between. It was supposed to alleviate like what was taken from us. It was supposed to cause a sort of equity, because there isn't. It's supposed to like make it somewhat equal. but now it's taken away. Because here's the thing, society, there's a bunch of things that go into society as we see to get to today. So we have race, we have class, we have beauty, we have sexuality, we have ability. So like there's a whole bunch of things. There's a whole gender and sexuality. There's a whole bunch of things that go into society. There's a whole bunch of hierarchies that affect how you get, not even how you live, but like how you get to approach life. So imagine being a black kid who's from a poor background in a poor black community. That puts you at so much of a disadvantage. And the idea that you're somewhat supposed to be able to work your way out of the situation, or to work and be able to like give the same output as someone else who, let's say, is from a white rich neighborhood, is totally insane to me. Because there's a whole bunch of white people who've been saying, oh, thank goodness that affirmative action has been taken away, so now I can get into like these Ivy Leagues and whatnot. Which is crazy, because let's talk about this. First of all, I promise you're not getting into those Ivy League schools because a black kid is. You're not getting in there because a rich kid is. Because because the whole idea, the whole concept between legacy admissions is literally a form of affirmative action. But instead of actually instead of it being like positively affirmative, it's like you're giving more to the advantage. Because why can a rich kid, just because his parents came through that same university, a rich kid with quote unquote average grades, why do they get a preference over other kids? Just because your dad, this is nepotism. This is nepotism at its very best. But no, of course people don't think about that. Of course people are not bothered about that. Of course people don't target that, because oh, the rich are, inherently better, apparently. But let's pick on the black kid who had good grades and deserves this chance, because what they had to do to get those good grades, I promise you the rich kids did not have to do to get mediocre grades. Because a black kid probably had to work at the same time as they are studying, because they are trying to help their family out, because poverty, because black communities have been stolen from. A black kid probably had to deal with a lot of stress from the fear of violence. A black kid probably had to deal with a lot of stress from the fear of the police. There's so many things that go into being black. Like there's so many stresses, there's so many disadvantages, but yet that kid was able to come out of school with good grades. And you're butthurt that that kid got into an Ivy League and you didn't. My brother in Christ, your mom and your dad both have good paying jobs. You've never had to work a day in your life. You go to school and you come back home to nice dinners. You eat well. You're well provided for. You don't have to watch your parents stress. You don't have to feel guilty for your existence, because that's something else that I don't think a lot of people talk about when it comes to being black. A lot of black kids feel guilt for their existence because they feel like they are inherently troublesome, or like inherently disadvantaged, like stressors to their parents, like they are burdens. So imagine having to live through that and also come out with good grades. Like every black kid who has gotten to a university of standard, of stature, like Ivy Leagues or whatever, due to affirmative action, has 110% deserved that chance, because to get to that position, they've had to work their asses off at the very least 3 times more than everyone else. So it's absolutely ridiculous that people have a problem with that. And let's even go back a little bit. First of all, like I said, like black people are not even the ones who benefited the most from affirmative actions to begin with. Just like a lot of things that were initially meant to benefit black people, inherently meant to like alleviate the race gap, a lot of these things ended up benefiting white women. Let that sink in. a lot of these things ended up benefiting white women and ended up furthering the white community, and as a result white supremacy as well. Because let's take education for example. I'm gonna have my dates. I'm actually not gonna drop dates because I don't have them off the top of my head right now. Let's take education for instance. So once upon a time, the most educated people were white men, because white women in general, were not necessarily allowed to get an education, or at least there were a lot of barriers to women getting an education, as well as there were a lot of barriers to black people and people of color getting an education in the U.S., Europe, and white, majority white countries. And affirmative action was actually kind of born around that period of time to kind of alleviate, like to reduce the knowledge gap between white communities and black communities. And after a few years, that was also transformed, or like made to encompass white women as well. Now, before we knew what was happening, in the blink of an eye, in the snap of a finger, white women had caught up fully with this educational gap, and even became like more educated, or like had higher graduation, or like a university graduation rates than white men. But yet we still struggle with doing that for the black community, because there is no funding. There is there's no funding to the schools. The schools are pretty shit. No equipment and things that would actually help black kids to become better. So please tell me, how is affirmative action a thing that puts black people ahead? Because it really doesn't. It puts white people ahead still. And also it kills me that the media tries to like make this like a black issue thing, because there's so much talk about, oh yeah, black people have benefited so much from affirmative action, and now that they are not, yada yada yada. Like, look at the Asian community not complaining and whatnot. First of all, the Asian community is very much complaining about it. The media just doesn't show you. Go check the Asian communities. Like, actually go look at the Asian community. The Asian kids are very much complaining about it as well, because it does affect them as well. It affects every person of color, not just black people. But of course, because the media needs a boogeyman, because the media needs to perpetuate this idea, this notion of anti-blackness, of course that's going to be the focus. Of course you're going to use Asian communities as sort of scapegoat to be like, oh, black people are just lazy, black people are just bad, black people are just like idiots. And that is so unfair. That's not even unfair, is such a light word. It felt wrong. That's so insane. That's so crazy. That's so fucked up. That's so stupid. That's so ugh. And honestly, I think I've actually been walking around this entire week with like a whole bunch of anger into like about this situation, and it's just been like, ooh, like I just want to like do shit, like fuck. Like, how fucked up is the world gonna get? How fucked up how much do we need to live through? But yeah, we live in very interesting times, very crazy times indeed, guys. Very interesting times, very crazy times indeed. And with that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap this up now, finish up today. And before we leave, let me add a few songs to the playlist. Oh yeah, today's also gonna be the last day that I add 3 songs to the playlist. I might continue adding songs to the playlist. I might continue. I might take a pause. I might only add when I have guests on, because otherwise you guys are just gonna like end up with all of the songs that I listen to. So yeah. So like I'm gonna add 3 songs to the playlist for the last time today, and I think that would mean that we have 30 songs in the playlist, because I've been having 3 every week for 10 weeks. So yeah, we should have like 30 songs in the playlist after today. So I'm gonna add Maleficent by an artist that I recently discovered, honestly, through TikTok. Like, yeah, I don't know what their pronouns are, so I'm just gonna like say they for now. They commented on my they commented on like one of my TikTok posts, and I went to the post and I was like, oh shit, they make music. Like they make really good music. Like I fucks with it. So like I'm gonna add Maleficent by this underground, well, this upcoming artist, whose name on Spotify is Greater Than Body. So you guys go check out the song because the song's actually fire. Like I actually fucks with it. I actually posted on my Instagram. People like I was like, fuck, I want to gatekeep. I actually wanted to gatekeep it so bad because like I was like, fuck, this is such a good song. I don't want y'all listening to this as well. But like, fuck it. So I'm gonna add Maleficent by Greater Than Body. I'm gonna, yeah, it's gonna be on the Spotify playlist. So like, go check them out. Go listen to it, and yeah, I am also going to be adding So High by Ski Mask the Slump God, and I'm gonna add One Night Only by Sunder, because I'm a huge Brent Fires supporter. Like I actually love him so much. So yes, I'm gonna add those three songs. Make sure to add the playlist to your like playlist collection, whatever. Listen to the songs, listen to the podcast, share the podcast, subscribe, do everything, and you know how it is. Follow the socials at Back OT Class Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and follow me personally at Danny underscore the creator on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And as usual, I love you guys. You know how it is. And I'll see you in class again next time. Bye.